Welcome to Confrontation Reborn. Excitement has returned to the Confrontation brand as Monolith Studios has purchased the Confrontation IP and has already announced two new games, one called Incarnation and the second one called Depths of Cadwallon. But whether you are a new player or a returning player, you may not be aware of the many resources available today to help you get reacquainted with this universe. I thought it would be helpful if I went through and showed you some of the informational websites available, some of the retail websites, and also some of the community sites that we typically hang out at. So sit back and let's talk about the sites that you should know as a Confrontation player. All of the websites that I will be covering today will have their links in the description below. First and foremost, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're following Incarnation on the Gamefound website. They've already announced that you will receive this free miniature just for following the campaign. This is also the place that you'll find the most up-to-date information as they make it available. They also have the Depths of Cadwallon webpage that you can follow, although from what I understand, this game will come out after the Incarnation game. So we're assuming, maybe incorrectly, that Incarnation will release this year, followed by Depths of Cadwallon. The timeline's still to be announced. That's just wishful thinking on my part, but we'll find out more information soon. Now let's cover some of the amazing free Confrontation resources put together by some of the most crazy fanatical fans you'll ever meet. So up first is our Confrontation Wiki website, and this is a project that was started a couple years ago that basically houses everything you could ever want for Confrontation. So if you're new to the game or you've forgotten how Confrontation plays, this is the website you want to check out. In particular, I want to call out the rules section, which is very helpful. If you no longer have access to the Confrontation C2 rulebooks, you'll have everything here from the core, divination, fortification, incantation, and incarnation, as well as the Confrontation 3.0 Big Black Book core rulebook. It even has the Confrontation 3.5 Living FAQ and the Confrontation 4 English translation of the rule set as well, along with the individual different books that were made available for Confrontation. If Ragnarok 1 or Ragnarok 2 are your jam, you'll find it here, as well as the hybrid, Cadwallon, and every other version of Confrontation, whether it's fan-made or official. What I really like about this is that if you have a particular army that you're passionate about, you can go to that section. You'll find out a little bit of the lore of the army, as well as some of the specific Cry Havoc books that were related, or articles, I should say, that were related to that army. And even, in my opinion, the most important thing, which is the factions. Sometimes these cards can be a little hard to find. Here, if you want to check out the different factions of an army, you can download the cards and get reacquainted. In this case, for the Howling Pack, you have all the Howling Packs of the Wolfen army that you can build your army into. They also cover the units, each individual unit, each individual stat. Super helpful to look at everything at a glance. They also have the abilities listed. Now, this is really important because everything exists today in the Big Black Book. Now, you can do a search within an Adobe PDF reader to find the rule that you're looking for, but this is even more convenient. You can just come to the site, check out the ability that you have a question about, and learn everything that you need to learn about that particular ability. Incredibly helpful. There's a lot of great information in here. It's hosted by Josh Sweet. Josh Sweet is the owner, and I think the database was first, this site was first created off of the content that he's accumulated over the years. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the other star players who made this website happen. Felion, Armahal, Gregoire, and Shino and Thorgrim actually were instrumental in translating some of the French-only cards. So some of the cards of Confrontation never had an English translation. They helped translate some of those cards. I even did a couple of them as well. So this site was built by the community, for the community. Like I said, we are a bunch of fanatical fans. We work for free, and that's how you know we're crazy, because we should have charged a lot of money for all this work that went into this. Many hours were put in. Oh, I almost forgot our resident librarian, Krillian. You know, I've never said these names out loud, so they sound kind of weird when I say them. But anyway, he's the guy who oversees this site on a day-to-day basis. So if there's a problem, if there's something missing, make sure you harass him and let him know that. So take a moment, check it out, the Confrontation Wiki. Now let's talk about a website that is very near and dear to my own heart, and that is the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Listen, if you are a board game fan, do I have a treat for you? Peter at the Esoteric Order of Gamers has done an amazing job of taking the various rule sets of 1,000 different games and creating these rule summary reference guides, which are basically just simple PDFs that you can download, print out, and have next to you as you play the many different complicated board games that have been released today. And that includes the Confrontation, the Age of Ragnarok. This is how I actually found out about the Age of Ragnarok after I purchased the game. This is actually what I mean to say. This is how I learned how to play the game. And what was really helpful for me was that in Confrontation 4.0, the different army factions have a number of different abilities built into their or listed in their specific army book. But if you're playing a game, it's a little hard to navigate through the book, and find what you need. Peter has you covered. He basically went in there and took all that information and streamlined it. You have the different, and in this case, in this game, there's different banners. You have the different banners listed out on individual cards. You have the different stats listed out for each character. You can print these out. You can put them next to you. You can use them for your order deck. It is just an amazing resource. And I want to say too that when I first found out about this, I downloaded it, but then I discovered that there were a lot of mistakes. And so I reached out to Peter, and he was just very gracious and entertaining a crazy Confrontation fanatical fan who wanted these PDFs updated so that he could have the latest version and download them. But what's funny about that is that this game is outdated, right? No one actually plays this game. It's been some time. And so Peter spent a lot of his free time, a lot of his hours basically updating this content for a player base of maybe 2 or 3 people. But he was just gracious enough to do that. And it's been very helpful. So we're up to maybe version 3.5. We started off at 1.0, and there's been about 3 versions since. When I say that we are crazy fanatical fans, I put myself in that category too, because I spent so many hours and weeks and months just going through each army faction section, making sure that the stats were correct, sending updates, proofing, so on and so forth. And then I really got the bug and realized that there were a number of different armies that were incomplete in Confrontation 4.0. This game came out towards the end, or at the end of Rackham's Entertainment's life. And so unfortunately, a lot of armies were not completed. And so what I did is I went in and found those incomplete documents. They had the basic stats of the army, but they didn't have much else. And so I went in and created these cards from scratch and created some banners so that you can field these armies a little bit more effectively on the field. Now, what's interesting, and even Peter writes up this, or he even put this information in here that I sent him that covers what this actually is, and that letting people know that this isn't an official army or faction released by Rackham. The stats are official, but some of the banners are not. He put that in there just so that people can know that this is a bit of a fan-made project, but it's available to anyone who wants to download it. Again, and this is just as a funny story, is I reached out to him multiple times asking for the source files so that I could create these cards, and he wasn't too sure about that because he didn't know me. Obviously, if you are a graphic designer, your source files are your livelihood. But I went through and I recreated this from scratch, and he was so blown away that he actually eventually sent me the source files. I think he realized that I wasn't going away and I was a pretty crazy guy. So I downloaded these images, created these cards, and I joined in this fanatical world of Confrontation, where you continue to support a game that really should not be supported. And I actually had a couple of people email me and tell me that they appreciated these cards and it's been helpful for them. So thank you for those fans who actually downloaded them. But hey, listen, I don't want to go on too long. There's so many things to cover, but just make sure that you check out Confrontation on the Esoteric Order of Gamers. By the way, I believe that he does have an AT43 website as well. He loves AT43. So if you are a fan of AT43 and you want to get back into that game, make sure you download these rule sets as well. We've been updating these as well, sending him corrections as we find them. So lots of great information. Also, I sent Peter an outline of the Cry Havoc 4 Ragnarok game so that he could use that outline and use it for a Confrontation Age of Ragnarok battle report he wanted to do. So he actually did do a battle report of Confrontation Age of Ragnarok. And so I'll be sure to send that link to that YouTube channel below in the description. One other quick note is that after I had completed some of the work I did on Confrontation Age of Ragnarok, Tristan Lamar came in and started creating these custom fan-made army cards for some of the other armies. So I want to give a shout out to him too for helping flesh out the available resources that are here. Like I said, we are fanatical and we work for free. All right, now let's talk about some of the places where you can actually buy Confrontation-related miniatures. So first up is the Temple of the West. You might have heard of this website. It's hosted by Kyle, who has been working hard on his Confrontation Continuing game. Right now, I believe that game is on hold as Monolith sourced through the Confrontation IP. I think there might be a roadmap for it in the future. We don't know yet, but he's worked tirelessly to keep Confrontation alive while the IP remained in flux. But you can still buy some Confrontation miniatures. Now, he does produce all his miniatures in metal. So if you are a fan of metal miniatures, this is the place you want to go. He has a couple of original releases, and he did commission some of the original designers to produce these miniatures. So they have a very confrontation-esque look to them. One of them that he just released is Veil Mantis. And supposedly the story goes that he is a brother of Fade Mantis. Now, there's not an official profile, but still cool, right? So make sure you check him out. He also has a number of Gary Chalk drawings. He has hard to find pieces that you just can't find anywhere anymore on eBay or any of the collections. He recently even did this Dakini Scarab, so you can download this or purchase this model if you've been missing it. I've mentioned to him that he should also release the character. He's thinking about release the character that goes along with this Scarab, but not sure if he's going to do that anytime soon. But we'll see. But yeah, lots of great content. He even has this Fade Mantis that if you play Confrontation 4, uh, you've seen this picture before, but this was never officially released. The company went under before they could release this official version of Fade Mantis. So here it is. Here's your chance to actually download that model and use them in Confrontation 4.0. This Curious model is also from an official model from Rackham Confrontation. I think they only released a handful of them. I don't think they were ever mass produced, but this is your chance to finally get that model that you've seen maybe floating around the internet. This is it in pre-plastic, pre-painted form, or plastic pre-painted form, I should say. Very cool. I bought this as soon as it was released because who doesn't want those official holy grails of Confrontation or of Rackham? I think there's a couple of other exclusive pieces that were never really made available in mass. This is pretty neat. This is the Griffin Rider Knight. This is actually supposed to go on the Griffin bird, but I think he said there was some trouble casting that in metal. Can't imagine. I think it's supposed to be cast in resin, but you can put this rider. He's an official model from Rackham Entertainment. You can put this on top of your Griffin of choice, and you'll have a semi-official Griffin rider. He also releases. He also took a lot of the pre-painted models that came out and converted them into metal as well. Some of these are available today in pre-painted form, but if you want to have that metal feel and you want to paint them on your own without having to strip the painting from the original pre-painted plastic, this is the way to go, right? In particular, these Wamfrees are extremely rare. I mean, when they pop up on eBay, they go for 80 or 90 bucks a pop. And the quality of the pre-plastic is not there, right? They're very flimsy, low quality pieces of plastic. Okay for game pieces, but they often break. So this is an amazing find. If you are a Confrontation 4 player, make sure you purchase a couple of these so you can build out that army. And then finally, he has a couple of exclusive Continuum pieces that he was working on that were supposed to release with the game Continuum, but as I mentioned, it's on hold. Um, so make sure you check that out. And finally, he also has this amazing Cassar the Fugitive Wolfen. Now, this is not an official game piece. It's the scale is too large, but if you are a painter, you need to check this out, right? It's an amazing piece. I think it's 50 millimeters from top to bottom, so a little bit bigger than your typical Wolfen, but listen, it's an amazing piece. So check out his website. I think some of this stuff might be out of stock. I'm just realizing that, but I'm sure if you reach out to him and put the bug in his ear, he might produce some. Here's some more Cadwallon content exclusively. This was his first release, Ferox the Gladiator. I believe the concept art came from Gary Chalk. So these are as close as official as you're going to get. Of course, he also has some of these exclusive pieces, as I mentioned earlier. Here's Asgard. This is the pose that's lifted straight from that Paul Bonner painting. So check it out. Worth your time for sure. Up next is TH Miniatures. So if you've ever owned a Cry Havoc magazine, you've probably seen some amazing scenery pieces to go along with these miniatures. They really help bring in the look and the scope of the world and convey this fantasy setting that is really second to none. But if you're looking to add that same type of quality to your own home games, or if you just want to, create some amazing dioramas, you need to check out TH Miniatures. He hand sculpts all of these pieces on his own. These are not 3D prints. These are hand sculpted and casted by his own studio. And what you get is a high quality resin piece that's ready to be painted and put on your battlefield as soon as possible. So just first and foremost, all the prices are in Canadian. I know that's freaked out a couple of people who looked at some of the prices and thought, whoa, this is way too expensive. They're Canadian prices. They're still a little high, but I think the quality is worth it if you want to place a really large order and get everything in at once and save some money on shipping. You can look at the different pieces. I really like this one. This has been I actually purchased this piece, put it to the table. He even offers some painting guides as well. So if you want to match this look one for one, you can do that. You'll see them featured throughout a number of different confrontation videos that I have planned to release in the future. So yeah, this is a website you have to check out. And really, he's just such a great guy. He has his own Facebook channel. I'll see if I can link that in the description below. You can see some of his amazing painting work. He paints very clean. I think he was an official Rackham Entertainment painter back in the day. So let's help support some of the old guard. Don't know if Monolith is going to commission him for some new pieces for the new games. I hope they do. His quality is worth it, and he's one of the guys you want to support. So check out his stuff. That's thminiatures.com. Now let's talk about the most controversial website in Confrontation, and that is cadwallon.com. Many of you have already probably angrily clicked away because the very side of the website angers you and frustrates you. And I can tell you that's because this is a recast site. Now I'm talking about it today because many people come to the Discord channels and Facebook groups not knowing what the site is, and they don't realize that it's a recasting site. So you are not buying official Confrontation products on this site. It is a recaster out of Ukraine who produces this content and ships it to you. They have basically reproduced all of the original Confrontation line. If you don't know what a recast is, they basically take the existing miniature that was already released, then they make a mold out of it. And sometimes those molds are not of the best quality. I can tell you that Cadwallon is known for having some fairly good quality molds, and some of them have what we refer to as double mold lines, meaning that the mold is misaligned. So this is just information for you. That way, when you search for Confrontation, I know Cadwallon's going to pop up. They have the best SEO when it comes to the Confrontation IP. You need to be aware that you're purchasing a recast. If that's an issue for you, then please don't purchase it. If you don't care, then you're free to do what you want to do. I will say that I've been told that the laws in Ukraine do not state that recasting is illegal. That's why they're able to operate outside of Ukraine. Pretty much anywhere in Europe, there are laws against recasting. So I don't know what their relationship is going to be with Monolith going forward. I don't know if Monolith's going to work with them and maybe partner with them to release some of the old miniatures. I think they've already said that they have no interest in releasing. I just don't know. The fact that Cadwallon is still around even after Monolith has purchased the IP tells you a lot of what you need to know when it comes to their ability to survive. So they've been around for a while, and many people have used them. So purchase at your own risk, and just know that that's what this site is if you want to purchase a recast. There's some other recast websites. I think this company has a number of different sister sites. I think they're all similar. I don't quite understand that relationship, but just know that if you are buying original Confrontation product from a website like this, it's most likely a recast. Up next is everyone's favorite website for buying collectibles, eBay. You've used it, you complained about it, you probably sell on it, and you already know what eBay is all about. Now, on the Western side and on the American side, I should say, you can find Confrontation product. It's not as readily available on the European version of eBay, but it's still here. Some of the prices are a little bit high for my taste, but every once in a while you can find a good deal. Back in the day, before the tariff started, you could go to ebay.fr or one of the other European versions of eBay and purchase a Confrontation product for a lot cheaper. Oftentimes the cards wouldn't be in English, but at least you could acquire there's a bigger storefront, if you will, of Confrontation. There was more selection. Unfortunately, because of tariffs, it's become a little bit expensive to ship to America. So eBay and the American version is really your only chance. Now, you just have to be careful on what you purchase. Sometimes, like I'm looking at this looks like almost like a recast. You have to be careful about what you're purchasing. Make sure it is like an original piece. Recasters live here too, right? So if you want to be sure, always purchase a model that comes with the card and the original blister, or if it comes in the original box. But use it if you can, and see if you can find something that you want. But it's probably not the best place to purchase Confrontation products. And that leads me into, in my opinion, the best place these days, and that's the Seven Hills of Confrontation Discord channel. We have a buy, sell, and trade group within it. This is a great place for fans to share pieces or share content, share figurines, I should say, to other fans. And you can oftentimes buy entire lots in one go. highly recommend you join our Discord channel. Make sure you check out the buy and sell trade group. You can even list some of the things that you want to buy. And so a lot of people have used this. Of course, it's peer to peer, so you don't have any of the protections from eBay. But pay with goods and services through PayPal, and you should be covered. Now let's talk about some of the amazing YouTube channels that have existed before my channel. Now, my channel has only been out for a week, but these are the guys who were carrying the torch in the past and have done a great job of spreading the great news of Confrontation. First and foremost is Crown of Command Games. This is hosted by Joshua. He is a fanatical Confrontation fan. He's done an amazing job painting these different figurines. This is some of his work. Now, this channel covers all things, not just Confrontation, but also covers a lot of different traditional older games. And Confrontation is one of the games that he covers on a semi-regular basis. I don't think he's done a lot of content recently, but definitely check them out. I know that he's planning to have an interview with the new Rackham Entertainment team within the next week. He actually invited me to be a part of that interview, but the time difference was too bad, so I had to skip it this time. I'll try and catch it next time. But yeah, friend of the channel, personal friend as well. So make sure you check him out. He has a lot of great content related to Confrontation. And this one in particular, he's covering some of the lore. He did a series about the lore of Confrontation. So if you want to get familiarized again with some of the lore of Confrontation, this is the place you want to go to. You'll also want to check out Jeremy at End of the World Gaming. So he's done a lot of battle reports. Jeremy's a delightful character. He has quite the interesting sense of humor. You can find him on one of our Discords, our Seven Hills of Confrontation Discord. And yeah, if you want to see how Confrontation is played, this is the site you want to go to. He also hosts a number of different Adepticon events. So I don't know if he's going to do one this coming year, but he is basically on boots on the ground, sharing the good news of Confrontation and letting people know that this game is still alive and there's still a very passionate community out there. So he hasn't posted in 11 months. I think we're going to try and put the bug in him to get started again. And hopefully he does a little battle report, because I think people are starting to get excited about Confrontation. Check him out, End of the World Gaming. Now, finally, we do have a couple other sites that were started not too long ago. We have confrontation.club. This is an app builder for the game. Now, it's not 100% complete. I think the app builder is still working on it, but it's a great way to build a couple of Confrontation lists if you're trying to figure out what kind of armies you want to field. It does the calculations for you. It's not 100% complete, but it's been a handy tool. Whenever I've hosted a Texas Confrontation Day, this is the app I recommended that people download, and it's been very helpful to build an army out, because you might have forgotten how things work. So it's a great resource. It's available on both Apple and Google or Android. I don't know if it's still active today, but just be sure to check it out. Finally, I want to talk about Confrontation Pills. You've probably seen this website in the past, but this is an awesome version of Confrontation. This is a fan-made rule set by the Italian court, and they've done something that a lot of the other courts have not been able to complete yet, and that is they've translated their version of Confrontation. They refer to as Evolution. I think they've also referred to as Confrontation 5, but it's their remake of Confrontation based on how their game group or their community wants to experience Confrontation. They've remade it, and they've translated the rules to English. So if you've played 3.0 and you played 3.5 and you enjoy the game system, maybe you feel like there's some areas that you're not too happy with the way the game plays, I recommend you check out Confrontation Evolution. Just the fact that they've translated their content from Italian to English for free, I mean, it's just phenomenal. They've even created a number of different army books that I've checked out. The game's very interesting. I haven't had a chance to play it, but it's worth taking a look at if you want to dive into Confrontation. You want to look at something new before the new Incarnation game comes out. I don't think this game is supported anymore, so what you see now is basically the final version of this Confrontation Evolution game system. But it's still worth checking out. Like I said, many of us are very fanatical about our game. We love Confrontation. We work for free. We work tirelessly, and we've created all this content, and we just want people to enjoy it. So when I say we, I mean the general Confrontation community. In this case, it's the Italian group. There's also a French court group. They've released, they have their version of Confrontation. I think some of the team members of Incarnation came from the French court group. I'm not featuring it because some of it's been translated to English, but a lot of it hasn't. So I'm only featuring stuff that's been 100% translated to English. But as you can imagine, there's so much content out there, and I could spend hours just covering everything. But this is what I use on a regular basis as an English speaker who enjoys Confrontation. So that's it. That's everything. Quite a bit of content. I just want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. Please like and comment the video. Share it as best you can. This helps encourage me that this is content that people actually need and want to see more of. Also helps my little channel to start getting some traction. The goal really of this channel is to raise the water as much as I can. And so you'll see me try and feature as many people as I can within the Confrontation community. Listen, a lot of great things are happening. Let's work together to bring this game to life. Let's support it as best we can. And let's stay excited. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll all talk soon. Take care. Bye bye.